Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining this Power Parenting session. Typically, our Power Parenting sessions are on the first Tuesday of every month, but sometimes we're flexible. We got to make this work, and Saturday was convenient for all of us actually to come together today for the month of April. And when I was thinking this month about the topics, I could not leave without making sure that I contacted my brothers at Growing Bridges to sit down and talk about this topic for today that we'll be discussing with you all, and that is the power of youth mentorship. We're going to touch on that today. We're just going to actually allow you to just come on and join us in the conversation in the comments. If you want to put some questions that you would like to submit or a thought that you have, please do that at any time. I always like for you all to remember what POWER stands for. It's parents overcoming with wisdom, education, and resources. So every month we come, our job is to make sure that we're hopefully providing some type of education, sharing our wisdom with each other. Somebody might have a point that's listening and watching. Put that in the comments. Somebody needs that. Like, don't reserve that to yourself and keep it to you. There's somebody that's going to play this on the replay that needs some wisdom that you have from an encounter, an experience, a situation that you had in your life, that's going to help all of us as parents, because it's not a cookie cutter. We're all trying to work this thing out day by day.
Mhm.
And so we're supposed to support each other. And that's the point of the times that we come together here. So hopefully you'll gain your strength and your power from the discussion today, get a little education from our topic today, and then some resources, because there are very good resources in the community. And if you haven't heard of Growing Bridges is one of those awesome resources that you can tap into, and your youth will be served well. So I am honored today to have Michael Miller with us, Mills with us, the
Hello.
founder, right? I'm correct, the founder of
Yes,
Growing
ma'am.
Bridges. Yes. And if you could, when we get to, if you can, I'll open it up to you. Can you just share a little bit about what that looked like founding it and your mission? That'll help us really get
Absolutely.
some things going. Yeah. And Michael Hayes, thank you so much, sir. Coach Mike
All
is
right.
with us. Coach Mike is with us today as well. And so we're going to glean today from each other. Once again, make sure you comment in this comment section for us, so we'll answer any questions that you may have as we talk about this discussion of mentorship. So, Michael Mills, I'm gonna turn it over to you and let you kind of share a little bit about Growing Bridges, the founding part of it. What made you really want to do it? Which I think we have a connection on one phase or phrase, I should say, that you use a lot, and
Yeah.
I will probably bring it up, but I think we connect on that absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a journey. We just got started. I would say probably a year ago with Growing Bridges, but Growing Bridges was really founded in my story and my personal experiences and just the life that I've led up until this point. Somebody youngest of nine, grew up kind of on living almost two different lives in a way. You know, I got the experience of living in the West End and experiencing some of that with some of my relatives, and then also being able to go up to, you know, rural Indiana, Elizabeth, Indiana, places like that, and spending time with cousins and stuff. And so throughout my upbringing, you know, I've been able to really kind of get a good idea of what rural people face and
Yeah.
also what, you know, the urban people face. And um, in that time, you know, getting into my 20s, I started to experience a lot of death in my life, a lot of close relatives, my mother, my father, brother, uncle, you name it. The list goes on. And through that time, I was diagnosed and stuff with anxiety and depression and all that stuff. And being a young black dude, that's really hard to kind of sit with. And I struggled with that. We would come from a background where those things wasn't really concepts that we had to deal with or face. And so I didn't have a lot of support in that. I was looked at kind of an anomaly in my family. And so I just really started to get on kind of a personal development journey. You know, I started asking why and what's the reason behind this. And um, I think I can't remember if it was out of any book or anything, but the phrase that I think you might be talking about, and it's one that I really stuck to. I was 22 during this time in my life, and I just thought to myself, you know, to be the person I wish I had in my life. And that helped me to see myself on the other side of what I was experiencing, what I was going through. And so through all of that and all the tools, the things that we've been able to really kind of lay out on our page, and the things that we start practicing around growing bridges, is really just kind of birthed out of, again, my story and everything like that. I would say 2020 really hit, and it affected and changed everything we all know about. And I was a mailman for almost going on 10 years, me and Mike. Mike was someone who I would say mentored me, and vice versa. We spent many years in those trucks, developing some of the things that you see now, that we can actually give names for. And so once I had this opportunity through mentorship, kind of in the mental health field, it really kind of helped me to experience and utilize some of the things that I've been able to try to be that person I wish I had in my life. And so just with that experience, and with the experience of my own life, it really kind of gave birth to Growing Bridges. And just kind of the name itself, is something that we want to do organically. We're intentional about the relationships we want to build. We're very much people over program is kind of our approach, and the way we want to live it. And I'm just really excited. I got a really great team around me and with me, who has supported me, has led it at times during my transition out of the post office and into trying to do this full time. And so it's just been an amazing journey with the people that I've been surrounded with, like Mike for many years, and Mike's now head mentor for us, and just really kind of helped paving that way. So
Yeah. No, that's good stuff. And actually, that was the
yeah,
quote. I'm definitely give you credit for that. That's the quote I want to bring up. To be the person I wish I had in my life growing up. And I
yeah,
think that connected us actually when we first met. Um,
okay,
I shared, in discussion about the Teen Life program here at Olive Tree, that I just wanted really to be that person I felt like I needed
yeah,
for young people. And that happens, like you said, organically. It's not something that you force. Um, it's you just tapping into and not forgetting what you needed,
absolutely, yeah,
not forgetting that. And so even parents that may be watching this, like if you have a 13-year-old, you have a 16-year-old, 10-year-old, wherever your child is, sometimes just sit in that for a minute and just think, where
that's
was I at 10?
good.
What was I feeling at 10? What was I feeling at 13? Wow. And so I'm gonna go off the cuff right here because this is like hilarious because this is a current event in my house. I have a 15-year-old,
All
and
right.
my daughter driving her to school this week.
Okay.
She said to me, "Mama, these boys be horny." I said,
Oh,
Oh shit. Oh no.
I didn't expect you to say.
I should have gave y'all forewarning. I should have gave y'all for.
No, this is live, baby. We live. Go
We
ahead.
My
live.
daughter's over here, and I'm like, oh, that's not what I want to hear.
Right. Daughters at home. Go ahead. So what happened
Listen,
Hey,
we
next?
coming real.
yeah,
This is what our teens are dealing with, right?
here
It's
we
real.
go.
It's
And
real.
so, I had to stand down for a minute. The mom and me, this is for the
Mhm.
parents, that are watching. It's always a reminder for us, even for me, had to wind down for a minute and think, wow, okay, when I was 15, where
Hmm.
was I? What was I thinking? What was I doing? So when I took a pause, I was like, okay, woo, let me take some wisdom right here and
Yeah,
get my power back. Because at 14, I wasn't saying that. I was doing some stuff I wasn't supposed to have been doing.
Hmm.
it's true. I was one of them ones. She
Yeah,
was
let
one.
me ask you this because I don't want to look over this. This is important for parents to I want to emphasize this.
Let's
She
go, coach.
comfortable. She felt comfortable coming to you and asking you that and
Good
making
work.
that's big
Big.
because kids don't feel comfortable coming to you and being that honest and upfront. So I want to ask you, like, why do you think she feels comfortable? Is it anything that you've been doing intentionally to make her just feel like it's an open space to come to you about
Okay.
that thing?
Yeah, because I try to take that pause and not like respond quickly with, kind of what my natural reaction would be. Like,
Mhm.
what? What you
Yeah.
talking about? What you been doing? Or accusing her. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, you know what? I ain't even gonna tell her nothing no more. Like, I
Yep.
wasn't even telling her I was doing nothing. I'm just trying to talk to her. Right.
Right.
So I always try to take a pause and I was like, okay. In my head, I was like, oh Lord. But I was like, don't come off at her, don't do this or that.
Yeah.
So it's like at an internal conversation so that she can feel comfortable at least sharing it.
That's good.
And
It is.
so, yeah, and then sometimes coming back and apologizing because to be honest with you, I didn't all the way win in that situation. When she said it, I paused. I didn't really react, but of course, it was still on my mind. So
Yeah.
the the next day when we was driving to school, here I come with these litany of questions. I was like, "So, have you been sending people pictures? Have people been sending
Oh,
you pictures?
oh,
Do you look at porn?" I was running it.
Going
oh,
out. Yeah.
oh.
I went in and she was like, "Mom, why
Yeah.
are you asking me all these questions?"
Mm,
And she was like, I'm not doing stuff like that." And I was like, "Okay." I said, "I'm just asking. People who care about you ask questions." So I came at Ralph.
good.
And then when she got out of the car, I kind of drove up the street a little bit and I pulled over and I sent her a text. And I said, I affirmed her first. I said, "You are a wonderful daughter." And then
Mhm.
I said, "I apologize if I offended you with those questions." I said, "I love you. Have a good day." Because I didn't want the girl having a bad day because here I am out tripping early in the
Yeah,
morning
yeah.
and all
That
these
you've been stewing
questions.
on it for 24 hours. You've been
Yeah.
stewing on
I was stewing on it.
it. You just
What's happening? Well, look, is that her way of telling me that something's going on? I mean, my mind was rolling.
right. Yeah. Yeah. I can see that from the parenting side. A lot of times, so in the years that I got to spend doing the kind of the mentoring through mental health field, I had a lot of opportunities to take kids to school. And that's so cool that you shared that moment as a parent, because oftentimes I was in the car with boys and girls taking them to school, and the way that we had kind of our morning routine set up was pretty spot on every morning. Breakfast, have a conversation, try to give a little word of wisdom, and then I'm driving them to school. But they would always want to hit me with something big right before they got out of the car. Same thing that happened to you. And I would often be like, man, I wish parents had the opportunity and time to do this, right?
Mhm.
But there was many times bullying, similar to kind of what you said, not nearly to that place. And I think the best part about it is she felt that way and wanted to share that with her mom. I think that was really cool. So I don't think they felt always as comfortable to say something like that to me. But they would share things, and I think because I wasn't the parent, I was able to kind of approach it with curiosity. So I would just go right into it as it like, oh, really? Wow. So why do you think they did you like that? Or,
Yeah.
and so really kind of helping them to analyze that experience with them. And so that was really cool. And it's something that like I try to say that with any parent that I've come across, or especially our mentors, is always approach it with curiosity first. Like,
Mhm.
be curious about, like Mike said, I think Mike did it just now, just like, why do you think she felt comfortable even coming and asking you that? What are you doing? Is there something intentional or whatever? And so yeah, that would kind of be my first little tidbit there of somebody who's mentoring with kids and has done it in the morning. Those car rides to school, there's something about them. There's got to be something about them.
Yeah. No, that's really good. But then also, just making sure we're ending it on a good note as well. And I think your approach is accurate in that if we come with curiosity and making them feel still a level of like that comfort and that they're not being drilled,
Yeah,
because I felt bad. That's what made me pull over because I was like, wow, that's gonna make her have a bad day because I just sit here and basically drill her with like 10
yeah,
questions on the ride. Um, and then it took me back to that place. When I was her age, how did I feel? I didn't like when my mom would always like question me or feeling like it was a lack of trust there.
that's
Or
good.
when I would tell my mom that me and old boy was just a friend, and she's like, "No, you're not. You date." No, that is really
Wow.
my friend. Like I like
Yeah,
hanging with boys. Like, and she wouldn't believe me. I'm like, "We're not doing nothing. Like I
Yeah.
just
yeah,
get along with boys." Like, and I didn't like when she would do that. So I was like, "Why would I do that to my daughter?" So I had to take myself back to my 15-year-old self
that's good.
Hmm.
and
Yep.
not do that to her. Because
Yeah.
sometimes we do it subconsciously. We don't mean to. Things that we didn't like that happened to us, we start doing it to our kids.
It's true.
Yep.
So I had to go back to my 15-year-old self and was like, I didn't like when my mom used to do that and accuse me of things and thinking I'm dating everybody. Like I was like, bro, like we're really cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. something to point out is that something that what you said was very important. You said that you wanted to go back and apologize. I think the key thing to being a leader, a parent, just a mentor, a person of influence in general, is that you have to lead from a place of humility, and it takes a lot of
Mhm.
to step down into a person's shoes. But when you are able to do that, especially with a child, it opens up them doors. It helps them to kind of lower those defensive walls that they might have up, and then let you into things that might shock you, because they feel like, oh, well, for one, mom has made mistakes. Why I know that? Because she's told me sorry before. So she understands what it is to fail. She understands what it is to be in my position, and now I can talk to her about those things.
Yeah, that is very good. Very good. I don't want to overlook some things real quick that we pointed out. So, uh, parents, you might want to get your notebooks out and just write some of these things out. Something that Mill said that was good, that they're looking at people over programs, people over any program, that we're really trying to look at people opposed to just giving them something to do or to sustain themselves through an activity or an event, really
Mhm.
touching people. So we got to think about that even with our children. That's a good spot to make sure we remember that. And then approaching things from curiosity standpoint. So that may be a good approach, like Coach Mike said when we were talking to our kids, like, hey, so what makes you think that? And put it back on them to then start a dialogue and not a monologue.
Mm.
Because if we're not careful, we do that. We create monologues. Will you listen to me? And da 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 da. I just had a teen this week tell me that her parent, one of her parents, was upset about something, and literally sit and talk to her for about 30 minutes, and she didn't get a word in. And then said, "Okay, you can just go to your room."
Oh,
Like no questions, no
yeah.
engagement.
Yeah.
Kind of see where she's at. I understand getting our points across, of course, but make it a dialogue. So approach it with some curiosity, because we'll be surprised. Like our young people know a lot. Like we can learn some stuff from them if we're open to that. And then that goes back to Coach Mike's point. We gotta leave from a place of humility, because if we don't, we'll think, oh, they don't know nothing. Well,
Hmm.
some things they know some things. They may need the wisdom from our background to
Yeah.
help guide them. They might need some wisdom to help be guided, but it
Yeah.
doesn't they don't know anything. But
Yes.
that takes humility to even believe that.
That's good. That's
Yep.
really
Yep.
So mentoring them in that way. So Coach Mike, can you tell me, I had a few questions to kind of touch base on.
good. Yeah.
Where do you feel like your passion comes from? I like how we mentioned earlier you're the lead mentor for Growing Bridges. Where do you feel like your passion for mentoring youth comes from, and including some of your experiences as well?
Honestly, so when I was in college, um, I worked as a counselor at the YMCA for the YMCA program, after school program. Worked with kids, and I loved it. Um, got to know a lot of the kids, got to see a lot of the kids grow up. I still run into some of those kids that I, counseled back then, and it's just an amazing feeling. And I used to tell Mike all the time, man, if I could do this, because I was a mailman, we was out in the truck for 10 years, man. But I was like, that would be something that would be my dream, like just to help kids. They would be
So true.
amazing, you know. And but to be honest, like it really hit one day, recently actually, where I just feel like it really solidified my passion for this. I had a dream, okay, and
Go ahead, Martin Luther.
so I had a dream, but I called Mike and I said, man, listen, I said, Michael, I had this dream where I was outside. It was hundreds of kids around me, and they was all yelling, Coach Mike, Coach Mike. And I was like, let's get it going. They're running it with me because in the program, we do a lot of physical activity. We're running laps and doing warmers up and stretching and all of this different things. So in my dream, I'm doing all of this with the kids, and I'm in the middle of them. I'm just like, whoa, I wake up and it's just like my heart was just overwhelmed because I was like, man, I believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I want my life to mean something. And I think that, to be honest, like as I'm speaking about it, my dream came back really from my son. Um, Personally, I wasn't never able to feel like, man, I just hate even saying this, but I used to, as she said, I can be real. So I never felt like I had a father to look up to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a junior, and in a lot of ways, I hated that name just because I just never felt like that was a name that I wanted to have because I just didn't feel that way about my father. So for my son, I was like, man, I want my son, I want my daughters to be able to see me as somebody they can look up to, and that dream came about. And I was like, there's something I prayed about, and I was like, Lord, this is really something that's on my heart. And he just was like, man, look, this is what I want for you. This is what I have for you. And then Michael came to me with this, and I'm like, man, this is perfect. This is perfect.
Perfect.
This is
Yeah.
what I want to devote my life to. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Right there. God, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. No, that's awesome. And that speaks to legacy as well, because that's what we do. We're supposed to multiply. We're supposed to duplicate ourselves.
That's
But if
Yeah.
right.
we're not willing to do that, right? You sow into another kid and that helps them along the way. I feel like if I didn't have certain mentors growing up, because we as parents have to realize we don't have it all. And my mom was really good at that, to recognize I don't have it all. So she wasn't kind of keeping me held back to say, well, you can't talk to so and so. Well, so and so might have had some wisdom to help get me to the next level. I
Yeah.
can tell you, I can name him off right. Like my counselor in middle school, Mr. Frenchie Cow. If I didn't have him, I wouldn't be here.
Mm.
Miss Joan Ray at Central High School, she was a mentor to me. I wouldn't have went to the college that I went to without her. I didn't even know that college existed. And she pulled me aside, and it's like she connected a dot for me in my life that I
Yeah.
did not know needed to be connected. Harold Fenderson, the counselor, the principal at Central High School at that time, going to his office consistently, constantly, every day. And he's giving me nuggets of leadership and how to lead. These are things that I didn't get at home. It didn't mean that my mom wasn't my support structure and loved me to working 3 jobs, love me. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm.
she needed that support. And I like how in you all's brochure, which I got it right here, wonderful
Oh,
brochure.
thank you.
Look, half of parents feel that they lack support when they're overwhelmed,
Yeah.
especially if it's a single parent. My mom was a single parent for a long
Yeah.
time, and she needed other support structures to help me be all that I could be and steer me in the right direction. So we got to be open to other people kind of coming in
Mm-hmm.
and help coach our kid along the way. Sports was really big for me as well, as far as mentorship, because
Yeah.
I was involved in a lot of sports. And so that helps steer and guide young people and teaches a lot of life principles. Because another thing in the brochure, you all already got the great content. I'm just helping bring it out. So I
Yeah.
need y'all to
Yeah.
connect. Parents, I need y'all to connect with Growing Bridges. It says 44% of high school graduates do not feel prepared for the real world. That's facts, parents.
Yep.
Facts. From good
Uh,
families, because some people are like, my family's good. And well, our kids still need other support structures to
Yes.
help them get to where they need to be. And 2 in 5 youth do not identify their home as a safe place. We can't have that.
sad.
We
Yep.
can't have that. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, it's back to that curiosity. If we're asking questions, do you feel safe? That's if we want the answer. Are we able to ask our children, do you feel safe at home? We might not want to ask that. We're scared of what the response is going to be.
Yeah.
If they say no, hey, tell me why. They might say, well, mommy, is because your boyfriend. I'm scared of him. If they
Mm-hmm.
tell you that, then let's get our power back. Let's use some wisdom. Let's get some education and resources to help support your child.
That's good.
Don't just dismiss what they say. If they're telling you
Mhm.
they're not safe and they tell you it's your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever,
Of
because they
course.
might say, listen, they might say, oh, it's the cousin that comes over here. I'm not even gonna go that deep today because I can tell you some stories. It's some people I did not want to go over. But because my mom was working, I had to go over there. That was the only babysitter. And I
Yep.
was scared
Yeah.
of their son. Come on, somebody.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
was scared of their son. He looking at me a little funny and was saying some little things. So
That's
if
right.
you ask the question, but I wasn't gonna tell my mom that I was scared.
Yeah.
But if you have curiosity Hey, are you safe over Susie's house? You okay, babysitters? And they
Yeah.
say no. Believe them.
Right. It's good.
Don't be like, well, that's the only place you going because I gotta go to work. Forget all that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to coach them and mentor them through that's the power of mentorship, and that includes questions, asking
Yeah.
questions, and curiosity and humility. we
Yeah.
can we can all do better. So this is not a slam. This is so we can get our power back.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I think what you're saying is really strong. For growing bridges, we always try to emphasize that we are family focused mentorship,
Yes.
family focused, right? The times that I've got to spend with certain families in the past few years, most of them are predominantly single mothers, like you said, Mike, single mother. My father was there. I would say he had some things that he had to face growing up that he never faced,
Yeah.
and there was a someone. One of my mentors. I was 25 when I met him. His name is Jonah Sage, and he shared this with me. He said, "If it's not transformed in you, it's going to be transferred to them." And that really stuck out with me, and so it made me do a life inventory on because I was about to be a father
Can
myself.
you say that again, please? I'm sorry. We got
Yeah. So the phrase goes, "If it's not transformed in you, it will be transferred to them."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so when I think about family focused mentorship and being able to create stability right off the bat, again, a lot of the families that I've had to work with or gotten the opportunity to work with are single parent mothers. And so when I'm coming to them, the first thing I want to do, I see it in my wife, I've seen it in my mom, I've seen it in just moms in general, is try to create a place of stability where you just have an ear, somebody's listening to you, that you're being heard. Because what that does really is it alleviates some of the pressures that your kids are carrying that you're not aware of. You asked the question, do you feel like your house is a safe place? It's one thing for them to even answer yes. It's another thing for them to say, because of you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like for them to be like, you are stressed out all the time. I've gotten answers from kids that would blow your mind on how they're able to articulate and give you an idea of the atmosphere of the household that's just not necessarily being created, but it's just what's happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody has to take that control. I love what you're saying, to take that power back. And so for us to come in, thing I want to offer to the families or to the parents, the other parents, is rest. Rest. You'd be amazed what a nap would do. You know what I mean? Just the efficient amount of sleep would do wonders. And then us being able to have that type of relationship with the parents, not only we get the buy-in to be able to help the youth, but it also helps us to create that space for the parents, so that we are that support. We are those things that you're talking about. We are taking them and getting them exposure and getting them those type of other resources outside of us. Because our main thing is that we want to get these kids where they're having the stability and the self-sufficiency for them to do it on their own. They have all the resources. We're just there to cheer you on at the end, and we're encourage you to go do the same with somebody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes. Yes. That is so good. That is so good. So how do you all feel like the family focus, being holistic, helps in that process of youth mentorship, and kind of pulling everybody together that is in the family? If it's a household of 4 or 5, that
yeah,
if working with that one young person in that household, how do we make it family focused?
yeah. So I have an example. I had a single mom who had 4 kids, all by herself, ages from like I think 10 to 17, and started working with the oldest first, and then started to get the buy-in from the mom. But then I realized the complexities that he's having to deal with as this, not necessarily man of the house, but he is kind of viewed as that, maybe not that role given to him. And
Mm-hmm.
so I knew right away, well, in order to be able to really get him to the place that he wants to be and his goals and his identity, is to help him with his brothers and sisters, to help him in his relationship with his mom. And so to get everybody together, to me, I mean, I think there is no such thing as a just mentoring the youth, because what you're doing is you're gonna go to them, take them out of the environment, have a good time. It is what it is. Have a good time.
Yeah.
Y'all do something. It's relief, but then they go back to the scenario, to the situation. We want to come in. It was nothing for me to do a pop-up on somebody and to check the bedroom because that was a goal you had. So now I'm in the house. Now I'm at your bedroom door looking in. I thought you said, you know what I mean? And so and the moms are in the background like this, get it up. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we kind of create that atmosphere where everybody is bought into the success of the goal that has been established, and that's what's best for the kids, right? Because we're not getting called in when kids are doing well. We're getting called when they're considered at risk. And so we try to get out just the simple things. What are some you know, we use this line, clarify goals and identify obstacles, right? And this is from the kid's perspective. You might be an obstacle, mom. You might be an obstacle, dad. But let's really talk about what it is so that we can overcome that and that they can start to get that rhythm and stuff. So to me, like that, to enable to have real success, it's got to be everybody's involved. It's not just the one particular kid who's considered at risk, right?
Yeah.
Mike, you might have something to add, something to say different, man. But yeah, what you got?
No, I actually just, you know, the concept, it just belongs to, you know, I know it's cliche, but it said the villages raise kids. You need a village to raise kids. Much wisdom is needed in raising kids. And when we talk about being family focused, we're just tackling the foundation of that child, what he's going home to. Because what we do, if we talking to the kid and we're instilling all of these things in him and he's going, or her, and they're going back home and it's being deconstructed, we're just building on a faulty foundation. So we want to go to the foundation. We want to mend those cracks. You know, we want to build a good, strong, deep foundation, and so that we can build a high tower, you know, so so that's where that comes from. But yeah, just piggybacking off of what he's saying, that's what we do.
No, that's good to build the high tower. Come on, brother. Yeah. Come on. I had to catch myself. I was about to say, amen.
Right.
Preach.
Yeah.
No, that's good. We have to. It starts with that foundation. And I wanted to show us again. So once again, if you're taking notes, you need to write these nuggets down. If it's not transformed in you, it will transfer. I didn't spell it right. That's all right. Y'all know what I was saying. Transfer to them.
Yeah.
So we got to nip it in the bud. We have to stop it. That's why we're like, let's take our power back. Let's come. We have these moments to talk about it so we can do some things differently and for you to connect to resources that are available. And I want to make sure that you all definitely connect with Growing Bridges. Make sure y'all write down this website. Y'all need to go there, look up the things that they have to offer, as well as connecting your child if you need that. And just know you have to trust the process because everyone in the unit is going to be included in the process of making whatever the goals are happen to make them manifest and be moving and pushing the needle forward. And I always, when I deal with families, I always like for them to look at the team, and coach could probably chime in on this, but look at the team concept in the sense that I love basketball, play basketball all my life. If I'm the point guard, my job is to make sure everybody else is getting involved in the game. I'm not just the only one going to be shooting. I got to make sure I'm passing. I got to play some defense too. I'm just not on there to dribble and be offense, right? That's what we mean by this family focus thing. That's what we're talking about. When we say we're pulling in the whole family, this is not a one-man sport. It's not tennis one-on-one, or, it's not where you're just running in a relay by yourself. But even in that, you're still on a team. Like, how do we pull the team together to make this win?
Yeah.
And then if we need to reevaluate, because last game I overshot and I was 0 for 20, I need to make some adjustments because that's not impacting my team and making the team win. So we have to make sure families have that type of perspective when we're coming in and being open to other people helping with that. Coach Mike, can you share on that too from a sports and Mills? You might have some too, but just from that perspective, so people can kind of understand how we're trying to pull families together in that youth mentor, and it makes it more powerful when the family is engaged opposed to just that one child. And maybe some success stories that you have.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't? If anybody that's played sports, if anybody has done anything where there's an audience involved, doesn't want their family rooting for them, who doesn't them having their their boards up saying, yay, such and such. You can do it. We need to be affirmed. We need to be chanted and pushed on, because we all face those times where we get discouraged and we need somebody to push us along. And we're pushing you along. And a lot of times I think that, I would say, like I said, we said it earlier, kids know a little bit more than we like to admit. They know the wrong things, but they also know the right things. And some things they already know, and we just pushing them along. And they need the moms to push them along. They need their fathers to push them along. They need guys like us in April to push them along, and just to say to them, hey, look, we affirming you right now. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. Don't give up. And so we come from that team aspect.
That's good. No, that's good. I just saw recently and wow, it fueled me in such a way. So Angel, that's on LSU, was talking to the point guard, and it was a clip, and she was like, she was in her grip, and she was serious, eye to eye. She was like, "You're a first round pick, right?" And she was like, "Yep." And she said, "Well, you can't be on and off. You can't be on and off." She said, every game you own. When I say that just did to me, I was like, what? And old girl was just taking it in. And it was funny because her response to Angel was, she said, "Talk to me. Talk to me.
I need that.
Come on."
Yeah, you need
it speaks to your point. Like, we're here to like hold you accountable. Look, remind you who you are. You're a first round pick.
Yep.
You a first round pick. On every day. Let's go. Let's go. And then not to get offended. Like the other girl was like, "Talk to me." She was eating.
Yeah.
We all here to eat. Let's go. Talk to me.
Right.
She wasn't like, who she thinks she is, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we need that accountability, that push, the reminder of who we are. Make sure you stay on your game every day. Hey, your mom is telling you clean your room. That may seem simple to some people, but to have another voice outside of your house that your child respects, and they're able to say, "Listen, dude, come on, keep your room clean," is real simple.
Yeah.
You won't even hear all that if you just do what you got to do. And then they start doing it. But then when you have a parent that may come, parents don't mess up the process. If my son is listening to Meals, and then he comes home and I start feeling salty because I'm like, I've been telling him to clean his room.
Yeah.
He just start cleaning it when Meals start telling him. And then you start talking to him. So Meal, you gonna listen to Meals and not me? Don't do that, parents.
Yeah.
Don't mess up the process. We're here to support.
We all on the same team.
We on the same team. We are on the same team. Don't do that. So if you engraft in, just like we're talking about this team concept, you have assistant coaches. When the player comes out and the assistant coach is like, "Listen, next time you go in there, I need you to post up, do this." And then you go in there and do it and hit. The head coach ain't gonna come back and be like, "Why you post up? Because coach so-and-so told you."
Yeah.
No, we're on the same, they're on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
So parents, when you have people come in, when you have resources that partner with your family and they give them good nuggets that are going to make your child better, you should say, "Wow, I'm so proud of you, son. You cleaning your room. Man, I'm glad you met Meals. That's awesome."
Yep.
You nailing it. You nailing it. There's a kid I have in mind that I got a chance to work with for a while, and so proud of him. There's a couple of things I think about when I became a father, and a lot of my friends and some of the guys who have the similar background or experiences that I've had, Mike. I used to tell them all the time, because we still need to hear it to this day, and if we didn't get it, we need it even more. Mike, I used to tell you all the time, "Hey, I'm proud of you, bro." Out of nowhere, right? Just out of nowhere, you might have did something simple. You might have just been exhausted and really talking about how bad you've been doing. Bro, I'm still proud of you. You still in the game. You still fighting. You know what I mean? And we still need to hear that to this day, right? And then I think about I think about this kid, and I wanted to say it, April, and you gave the line, but the movie I think did it really well. It was the first Black Panther movie, and he is getting smashed by M'Bakum or whatever, and I think he's in a headlock, as a matter of fact. So he's locked up, and he looks over, and his mom is looking at him, and she said, "Remember who you are." And what happened?
Yeah.
Changed the whole course of the fight, right? If we're not necessarily got your son in the headlock, but we're creating disciplines that feel like he in a headlock,
Yeah.
right? Like we got him. Uh, it's going to be really bad for you as the mom. Let's go back to that scene in that movie, and she's like, "I taught you how to get out of that headlock. Get out of that headlock, boy. What are you doing? Get out of that headlock right now." No,
Yeah.
no, right? Remember who you are. Remember
Absolutely.
what I've taught you. Remember where you come from. I think the rootedness in that, and then in the part that we're trying to play, we're simply a part of the team, right? We're only going to do the things that you've already told them. It's an established agreement between the child, ourselves, and you anyway. We're just reinforcing what you're already saying. So sometimes they do, like Mike said, they need that encouragement. You can do it. You
Yeah.
can, right? Remember who you are. This kid that I'm talking about, it was really cool because it was during COVID, and COVID really messed up kids.
Yeah.
Like, it messed up people too. I'm not saying, but like you're talking about developmentally, they're
Development.
going on progressing, and then boom. I mean, I've seen it in my kids. They've had to get a little extra help here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So this kid though, several diagnoses, 10-year or 9-year-old. I mean, really, you could see some of those diagnoses. They're really like prevalent in his life.
Yeah.
Worked with him for a whole year. I promise you, I didn't really get to see much progress while I'm in the trenches. Right, I'm in there with him. We're working through it. He goes back to school though, and the mom gets an email from the principal, and the principal is saying like, your son. He used this word, and I thought it was so cool because when we talk about our 4-phase mentorship, at the end we say go pro, and going pro essentially is now you're leading with the things that we've given you. You're leading. You're going and being the person you wish you had in your life, and I wouldn't have necessarily used this word for this kid. And so in the email, I'm trying to do my best to remember it, but he's talking about how there's bullying kind of going on since they've been back in school. There's a whole lot of just clowning and interruptions. But in the classroom, he's sitting there and he's calm. He's hanging out. This is one of the kids who would have been, if not a part of it, he probably even initiated it.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's really being a leader, like an example of a leader in terms of helping people to go the other directions. He's influencing others to go a different way. And I like I said, I remember being super proud, but I only played my role. Mom, look at like that email was sent to you, not me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's what he's doing. That's this type of son that you have, right? I'm only a part of the journey. That's who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's who he is. And so again, just remember who you are, right? Like you're trying to teach your kids a certain way. So we just want to be a part of the journey, you know?
That's so good. Yeah.
I love that he said this is who you are. Like we're not implanting anything new. We're just trying to help what's already on the inside of these kids come out.
Amen.
These kids are already amazing. It's about just
Resilient.
Look. It's something when we do it with the kids, say they don't do their homework. Hey, you know how smart you are?
Yeah.
Do you know how intelligent you are? This is not you. Do you know how diligent you are?
Yeah.
It's affirming them in who they are that encourages them. And a lot of times we have to be very, very intentional about that because we think that we're encouraging them about being just, you need to do this, but we're actually discouraging them and we're building those walls and making them feel less comfortable. But if you help them to feel comfortable in being who they are, they tend to break out of that shell a lot faster and a lot more organically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when growing bridges that we do very intentionally, teaching the children as well as the parents to do this as they encourage and build their children at home.
Yeah, that is so good. Yeah. Thank you for that. That's something parents need to kind of just let that marinate for a minute. Because you said something key in that helping them, it's already in them, and helping them just pull that out. And sometimes that takes other people to assist you with that process. And then when your child shows you, this is Maya Angelou's quote, when people show you who they are, believe them. And sometimes our kids show us who they are. I mean, the greatness in them, the good stuff, right? Sometimes we might see it in glimpses just because they're developing. That's a part of the life cycle.
Yeah.
Even psychologically, their brain not fully being developed. So those bad choices do come in there in between that. But when you see those glimmers of their greatness, believe that.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
Okay? Believe that, and let's help build on it and have other people help support it as well, so that we can cheer them on. Look, that the gym just doesn't have one person on the bleachers.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? It's something different. It's some hype when you got a whole, you know what I'm saying, the whole section is like all meals, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Person, right? So the more people we're having like push that on, it just is the power of youth mentorship. And I want to go to you all's website. If you all could talk about this, I'll let
Yep.
you all share this with parents because this is powerful. Um, you all's phases and approach to mentorship. If you all could share a little bit about this.
Yeah. So I kind of almost given an overview of it. And Mike really alluded to it earlier. The first phase is storm because we're typically being called in. Like I said, a kid is labeled at risk. They got a lot going on at school. You're not getting what you want from home, or they're on their way to maybe something more juvenile, right? And so we want to come into that, right, and help them to get acclimated with all of our tools, all of the things to help them get a good assessment of like, hey, if this was a map, here's where you are in your life, and here's the direction that you're heading, and here's all the things that's in that direction that you're heading at, right? Do you want those to be your outcome? Typically, it's no. And so in that time, we really want to try to like foster organic, intentional, safe strength, like those kind of things to really help them see that we're on their side. So again, the buy-in from the whole family is very important. And in that, it's one of those things where we're telling them, hey, just follow me out of this storm, follow me out of the storm. You ain't got to do nothing else but just follow what I'm saying and trust and believe me, right?
Yeah.
And then from that place we go to conform. Now in conform, the level of leadership, it goes down a bit. You kind of look at these as 4 quarters make a dollar. So at this point, I'm leading still, but I need your help, right? I need you to start to really identify your goals. Clarify your goals. It's very important. Clarify your goals and identify your obstacles that's going on in your life, so that we can start to make and break habits that are going to form the outcome that you're trying to go. And so once we get past that, we go to transform, and that's when it gets really excited because now they're leading and we're doing the following, right? We're helping that, and so you see the pendulum really switch there. They start to feel very confident, almost cocky in the way that they're doing it. We've been doing life, Matt. We've been doing all of that stuff. I'm doing better. I'm doing better. And so it's really kind of a caveat, but there's something in between there we actually call maintenance period, where we just want to see if at this level you can maintain where we're at just by doing this, before we go to the next one. And so the next one in pro form, that's when we, a phrase we use, go pro. It's time to go pro. They start doing things that's out of character of the habits that we formed. Come on, go pro. It's just a reminder. But that's when they lead and we're cheering them on. We're not helping them. Transform was you lead, I help. Pro form is you lead, I cheer you on. Go. Because the cycle remains, right? We want you to go from going pro and going back into the storm of somebody else's life to be the person you wish you had. So,
Wow.
Mike, man, if you want to share, some more specifics, man, some of the details, and I mean, this has kind of been a part of our lives. You can see it how it's formed up, man. So,
no, I think you hit it on the head. I think just a couple things is that one, we're teaching you with a purpose. We're teaching you so that you can teach. Okay. We want you to go, and like he said, we want you to go and meet somebody in their storm. Teach them what you have learned from us. Not to keep it to yourself. And then as well as what was the other one? I think it just slipped my mind. It just slipped my mind. I apologize about
on the screen.
Huh?
I said, is it up on the screen?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I seen it was something that was on her, but that is, I think it'll come back to me. But that one is key, because we don't want you to hold this for yourself. We want you to go and we want you to teach others. That is replicable. replicable. That's
Yes.
we make it to where it can be copied. Uh, listen, don't put us on any pedestal. uh we like we said, we come from a place of humility. We have made mistakes. We're just teaching you what we've been taught, and we want you to do better than us, and we want you to take that same attitude on to the next person. And so we make it to where it can be easily copied. uh we ain't doing anything special,
Yeah.
okay? And
Yeah.
so we want the parents to understand. We want the other mentors, future mentors, that coming in to understand, hey man, I can do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
Yep. Easily duplicatable. Yep.
Yeah.
you
That's the things that we really want to try to harp
we do.
on. Because
Yep.
it, like Mike said, we've made mistakes. You know, a line that I'll use all the time is direction over perfection. It's all
Mhm.
about direction. How can we look at your life, and do you have enough evidence to support that you're going in the direction that you say you're going?
Mhm.
Right? And we do that all the time, even in ourselves. These tools that they will be adapting and learning and really embodying, these are things that I still have to do to this day. Because if they don't keep me in check, I'm going to go back to
Yep.
the old habits. I'm going to go back to the default setting
Mhm.
of feeling bad about myself and letting my story, letting my circumstances, all the things that have impacted my life, let them define who I am. Right?
Yeah.
And that's never going to be, it's never going to get me to where I'm at. You know, the goals that I've been able to achieve in my life are things that came from these tools. And it's not something that you need higher education for or anything like that. I didn't have the time to do that when I was learning
Mhm.
things. I had to find stability. You know, I'm thankful that I had people along the way like Mike and others like him. But you know, that the journey that we've went on leading up to where we're at today, and it, you know, coming terms of 4 phase mentorship and growing bridges and all these things. We didn't have those terms. We were just out there in the field making it happen.
Making it happen.
Making
Yeah.
it happen.
We've really tried to label these things. It's been a lot of hard work during the transitions that we've been in to make sure that it is duplicatable. So good message, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that. The different people can see that. Thank you all for sharing that. I told you all they have the content. It's there and it's proven. It is through life experience. They can tell you they've already utilized these components to help them be where they are and continue to utilize them. So once again, if you're taking notes, you might have the storm phase. That's number one. Number two, the conform stage, which is needed. Try to get your buy-in, pull you in. Then transformation. All of us should be wanting transformation. That's the goal in life, that we're constantly being transformed into who we're supposed to be. That we're utilizing these things and people, because we can't do it by ourselves, that we use other people and other systems, proven systems, systems that are structured with you in mind and not its own agenda.
Hmm.
They're not trying to gain anything from you. We're trying to give it and get it to you so that you can go pro. Why? Because you're a first round pick. Y'all see
Hmm.
how I brought that around?
I
Yeah,
Look
like it. I like it. Go ahead.
round pick.
at
That's a bucket.
that's Coach Starks right there. That's Coach. Let's go, Coach.
You're a first round pick. We reminding you who you are. We
That's good.
reminding you, and then 4 stages right there can help you, and it's perpetual. And it's where you can duplicate it, because your goal should be that when you get, you give. This
Mhm.
is something you gain, you know it works, it impacted you. You should be ready to share that with someone else. And I would even add this. I feel like when I have certain things that I utilize and it impacts me, when I share it, it even helps me even more.
Mm-hmm.
I gain more by sharing it. So
Yeah.
sometimes we think by reserving it and keeping it, I got to keep, my 4 no more right here with me. No, you give that out, it's going to return 8, to 8. You give
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
out again, it just keeps returning. So that's what we want. And last but not least, I just want to, we did say this and I want to put this up, but we're all on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
It's no competition with each other. We're trying to make sure that people's lives are changed, our lives are changed, that we're moving forward in productive ways. Um, and
That's
so if
good.
we have that mindset as well, there's no kind of like this hesitation of allowing people to help you
Yeah.
get
So
your young person to where they need to be. And that's the power of mentorship. I'm going to let you all end however you all would like to end. I appreciate your time. I'll start with Coach Mike and then Mills, if you all will wrap it up for us today.
Sure will.
Coach
Yeah.
Mike.
I just wanted to say, I want to piggyback off the same team. Parents, please remember we are on the same team. You reaching out for resources does not mean you are failing. Do not be ashamed. We are here to help you in whatever way that you need. We are here to meet your needs and the needs of your children. We just want to build you. We want to help you and be an encouragement to all the families that come forth. So just be encouraged. Reach out to us and let's get started.
That's good. Yeah, so what Mike said, being able to be a resource to you and not feeling like you're failing, we might not be the best option for you. We want to hear, like, please come speak to us. But if we feel like that there is a better place for you, that's the part of growing bridges that makes, to me, what makes us great. We have the ability to have enough platform, enough connections with the community to make sure that you get the appropriate help. I think about and kind of tying into the same team, but also not feeling like you're failing. The time that I met April in that season of life that I was in of establishing growing bridges and feeling a little bit unsure myself, but also having enough experience to believe and have confidence in what I was delivering, sitting across the table from her and almost feeling two things where there's an excitement to want to share, but then I want to hold back. And even experiencing this today with April and Olive Tree Resources, this is something that she has helped giving us the ability to be able to come and share these kind of things in an organic way. That's really who we are as people, Mike and myself, but also the organization. And so she's really living that out, being on the same team, empowering us to be able to come on in front of you guys and do this. Mike will be the first one to tell you this is not really something that we are naturally geared towards. We want to be those kind of leaders in the background and being just proving our work by the people, right? By our evidence and by the families that we're able to help. And so I just, lastly want to say thank you for creating this place for us to be able to share about things that we're passionate about and we love to do, and helping us to get to this place right now. Always grateful for you, April. You like a big sister to me, and Olive Tree Resources is just a great place that I know the work ahead is going to be really amazing for what Growing Bridges is going to do. So,
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate both of y'all so much. Look, we're family at this point. Y'all could try to get rid of me, but y'all not.
Nah, that's big sis.
Y'all not. We are definitely family. I want to put this website up again just one more time. Make sure y'all visit the website. Connect. I love what Mill said. That is important that don't hesitate to reach out to resources, because when you connect with resources that understand the big picture, if they don't have what you need, they will make sure they help connect you to components that can support you.
Yeah.
So those are people with the mentality I want to connect with, because we all have a piece of the puzzle. And it may not be what that child needs, but because I'm concerned about people over program, because if I was over program, it'd be like, if it ain't Olive Tree, I'm not doing nothing. See, I don't have time for that. Listen, if Olive Tree cannot help you, I'm going to connect you with my brothers at Growing Bridges. If Growing Bridges says, hey, this ain't really work, they're going to say, you know what? There's a program in Louisville called AMP. I'm going to connect you with AMP. If AMP can't help you, if they have that mindset, they'll be like, you know what? We can't help you. Let's connect you to the YMCA. That is how we're supposed to flow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, please email us. I think it's welcome@growingbridges.org and word vomit. That's the best place to start. Just word vomit. Tell me your story, what's going on. Every detail does not matter. It's confidential. You don't have to worry about that. And we'll take it from there. Don't feel like you need to know what your next best step is. Just take the step.
Yeah. And even if you just have questions, you can email questions. We love them.
But email that at mhayes@growingbridges.org.
Just put his email out there. There you go. We welcome you. We welcome you.
Yes.
So thank you all for joining us today, and those who will watch us on replay, take your notes, get your youth, your young person plugged in somehow for mentorship, because there is power in youth mentorship. We'll see you next month.
Peace.
Peace.
Sorry.